Hey guys, Script here with another video. Star Wars, Daisy Ridley on whether Rey could have her own children. Now, if you recall, not that long ago, there was those supposedly leaked photos showing a pregnant Rey that some people suspected was screenshot from the upcoming movie that they're apparently going to make. We'll see if they ever actually do make it, but obviously it wasn't. Obviously it was fake. They hadn't even started shooting. But a lot of people, especially Reylos, kind of assume that, oh, well, they're going to have babies. They're going to have rabies. All this stuff. Which, of course, I think the whole point of this video I'm making isn't to say whether or not there's going to be rabies. But the point is, I actually have I have appreciation for Daisy Ridley and the way she's viewed how Star Wars has gone. So I have previous videos of her interviews in the last sort of few months, and she's talking about how the sequels were very divisive, and there were things in them that, she knew were going to kind of anger fans, and, she didn't have any control over that, but she definitely, I think, cares about the fans. Now, she doesn't care about the fans to the extent that she's not going to do this movie, which, of course, I don't blame her, because $12 million, I would also do this movie, because at this point, why wouldn't you? It's like Oscar Isaac said, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars if I need another house. So the actors are just viewing it strictly as a money-making thing for them, because it's essentially been kind of ruined story-wise. I think they all agree with that. You can kind of tell with some of the reactions, like the reactions to The Rise of Skywalker ending and some of that stuff. Anthony Daniels was, of course, very vocal as well as Mark Hamill, until they told him to shut up, and then he did one interview, and now all this Disney shills say, oh, no, he loved The Last Jedi. Yeah, okay, sure. He only did about 50 other interviews where he said he hated it, but whatever. And so, next Star Wars movie arrived in theaters. It will at least been 7 or 8 years since The Rise of Skywalker was released. However, the events of this new Jedi Order story take place 15 years after Episode 9, meaning a great deal will have changed in Rey's life. While Rey will now have her own Jedi pupils, as Luke Skywalker once did before her, Ridley tells Deadline that she doesn't expect her to be raising any children who will continue the Skywalker bloodline. And that was another theory, right? That Ben maybe impregnated her when he healed her. And honestly, I thought they're gonna do that because they do really, really dumb stuff now that Disney took over Star Wars. So I thought for sure that's what they would do. Oh yeah, he impregnated her through the Force because they just are so scared to make somebody mad, to not make the Reylos happy or whatever. So, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. They'd be out of their mind. I mean, maybe they would, but to be raising any children who will continue the Skywalker... No, she's not a Skywalker. That was so dumb that they did that. I would say she probably doesn't have any children, seeing she's a Jedi, Ridley tells the trade, suggesting romance could be off the table. See, there you go. So she's coming from the perspective of, it wouldn't make sense for her to have kids because Jedi don't have kids in the George Lucas Star Wars universe, which us as fans would agree. It kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I understand that Luke had a family and everything in the EU and all that stuff, but George himself said that Luke does not have any kids. He said that in interviews. He never viewed the Jedi as having families because there was something more important. It's almost like a monk type situation. It's heavily influenced by that type of stuff. And it would be, difficult to have a family and also be a Jedi. And again, I understand the EU, and I know those stories aren't terrible or anything like that. They're fine. Personally, I never wanted Luke to have a family. I thought that was corny. I liked Han and Leia having a family, with Leia not being a Jedi and all that. But again, I can see how Ridley's kind of coming from sort of the George Lucas storyline mentality. But she doesn't actually know. So they may do this. They may do this to try and, get people hopped up about whether it's Reylo or some other reason, because there were rumors that she was going to have twins. The boy was going to go bad and the girl was going to go good, which is kind of like the EU storyline with the Solo twins, kind of. But again, she doesn't actually know, but I wouldn't put it past them to do anything they can to try and draw interest, because I think this movie's probably going to flop and they're going to spend $300 million making it. I don't know anyone who's really all that excited to see a Rey movie. Literally, what I know is what was announced last year. I'm waiting to read the script. I know bits and bobs. I know there's an introduction of new characters. Yeah, and there's people on Twitter that are saying that, the script is done. They're like, I have a reply guy who's just always... Because I tweeted, I said they're planning on starting filming in April next month, but they don't even have a script yet. And he's like, yes, they do. It's like, no, bro, they don't. She's never seen it. They don't have a script. Like, why do people just make stuff up? That, like, if they had a script, it would be announced. You would know. It hasn't been announced because they don't have one. So why do you shill for Disney? Why do you stand for them and just say they have one when they don't? They're disorganized. It's a mess. Kathleen Kennedy is a disorganized mess. She's already booked studios for shooting in April, and they don't have a script yet, and it's March 12th. Sorry, it's the 13th. It's the 12th when this article is written. So it's a mess. And they just can't accept that it's a mess. It's a mess. It is. I don't know about previous characters. Could those new characters be in the Star Wars franchise's next leads? Well, that remains to be seen, though it's widely theorized that this movie is essentially Episode 10 and the beginning of the next sequel trilogy. Lucasfilm was once said to be looking for black male and female leads. Black male? Like, what? Why did somebody from Lucasfilm come out and say, we're looking for black people? Like, it's just so dumb. Why do you need to specify that? We're looking for black people for this movie. And if you're black, come and audition for this movie. Like, it's just so, they're so lame. Oh, man. The short answer is, I don't know. I'm excited to do the job, but not because Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy is a woman. Oh, she had to specifically make sure that we know it's not because she's a woman that she's excited. Oh, man. They've just made such a mess. Ridley said earlier this year about working with her female director for her Star Wars return. Her documentaries are amazing. Her idea for the story is cool as crap. No spoilers, but she gave me a rundown of the entire story. If it weren't amazing, I would have been like, okay, call me in 5 years, but it's worthwhile. This is an interesting one because this actually shows you that she's involved with the script. I thought it was being written by Knight, but I guess she's probably involved. I mean, that's not totally abnormal, but I don't know if I want a documentary lady involved with a Star Wars script any more than I really want her directing, but I certainly don't want her involved in the script. Like, why would you give her any kind of say on the script when she's literally making documentaries about women being abused in Pakistan? Like, it's nothing to do with anything to do with Star Wars. Like, it's so weird. Kathleen Kennedy is the weirdest executive ever. As for whether she'll find it odd making a Star Wars movie with fellow sequel trilogy co-stars Adam Driver, Boyega, and Isaac, she added no, because I don't know what is what or who is who in the new movie. So much has happened for me since the Skywalker saga. I feel like a grown-up now. When I first started, I was like 20. I was the youngest on the set. It took me the first two Star Wars films to feel worthy of being there. Now in my 30s, the whole thing feels quite different. I've been able to work with other filmmakers, and hopefully I've got better as a performer. She was fine in the sequels. She wasn't great, but she was fine. It wasn't like she wasn't terrible at all. She was fine. She was given a really crappy story to have to work with, but she was fine. Miss Marvel director, oh, that was a success. Miss Marvel. Obaid-Chinoy will be at the helm, and as noted, Ridley will reprise her role as Rey. Okay, so what do you guys think? I mean, do you care if she has kids or not? Do you even care about this movie at all? But do you at least appreciate that? I think Daisy really does care about the fans, and she does think that, you know, they've made some mistakes and yada, yada, yada. Is there anywhere really to go with this movie? Does anyone, like, what is the point of this movie? I don't know. I think this is Kathleen Kennedy thinking that she's a genius in making her self-insert Rey character and that everyone's going to care about her new movie because it's her self-insert. I think honestly, this project is completely Kathleen Kennedy ego-driven. I don't think it has anything to do with creativity or logic, because I don't think this movie is going to make any money. I don't think anyone cares to see a movie about Rey. I think the only reason the sequels made any money was because there was OT characters in them. Literally, that's the only reason. No one cares about this character. They did a crappy job of transitioning from the OT cast to the new school cast. They wrote a crappy story. She's a total Mary Sue. There's not going to be any tension. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. As usual, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And feel free to check out anything else on my channel. And have yourselves a really good day.